In southern Europe, about 20,000 years before Christ, many disc and saucer-shaped objects, some with extended tripod legs, were painted on the walls of caves near a place now called Les Isets in France. Likewise, strangely garbed people and objects appear in petroglyphs all over the world. Near Tassili in the Sahara, Sueur in France, Altamira in Spain. These early people were storytellers, and their cave graphics were an effort to record what they did and what they saw. So what are these objects? What could they have seen in those early days to stimulate drawings such as these? We will never know for sure what these objects were meant to be, but any open-minded person must regard the UFO interpretation as a possibility. Similar to petroglyphs, yet tremendously larger in scale, 200 square miles of the Nazca Plateau in Peru displays carved figures of earthly animals and geometric designs. Some of the figures found here are a monkey, a whale, a hummingbird, a rainforest spider, and each shape covering acres of ground. Each shape tremendously out of place in this desert environment, and each shape discernible only from the air. Also etched into the plateau are geometric shapes, triangles, rectangles, trapezoids, and straight lines that run as much as 5 miles in length. The lines seem to have been laid down in later times than the animal designs because in places the geometric shapes cut through and obliterate portions of the animal figures. So it seems that the earlier designs were the more complex and required a higher level of skill and technology to create. Research by Dr. Phyllis Pitluga, a senior astronomer with Chicago's Adler Planetarium, suggests that some of the figures found at Nazca represent stellar constellations. She says the spider at Nazca, like the pyramids in Egypt, could be a representation of the constellation Orion. No one knows who scraped the Nazca designs into the plateau, yet you can't help but wonder why so many geoliths found around the globe refer to the constellation Orion. There are hints here that in the very distant past there may have been an advanced global society whose only remaining legacy is found in the unexplained monuments that dot the remote corners of the world. Let's move now to about 1450 BC. By that time in Egypt they had learned to make a kind of a paper called papyrus. And in that year, something so incredibly wondrous appeared in the sky that it was noted by the Pharaoh's record keepers. Here is a translation of a portion of the text of the papyrus of King Thutmose III. The papyrus was found among the papers of Alberto Tulli, a former director of the Egyptian Museum at the Vatican. This papyrus is sometimes called the Tulli Papyrus. Here again we find accurate representation of apparently UFOs in the sky 1,450 years before Christ. There are many references to UFOs found in ancient Chinese, Japanese, and European historical records. Harold T. Wilkins, in his book Flying Saucers on the Attack, lists many references to strange aerial events from the earliest civilizations, clear up until the 1950s. The ones listed here are just a sampling of them. And they show again that there are indeed accurate records from the past that tell the same stories that are being told today.